What's up, guys? What's going on, man? I'm Paul. This is Pauline Theology's daily devotional, and we're going through the book of John. This book has been great. I've been learning so much about who Jesus is, stuff that even though I've gone through this a couple of times now, man, it's like I am finding more and more about Jesus. I am learning more and more about him, man, and it has been a blessing and a wonder. And I'm glad you guys are joining me through this journey. This is Trust in Jesus Ministries. We want to help you trust in Jesus more through reading the scriptures and understanding who Jesus is, so that way you can place every part or every aspect of your life in his hands, because he is infinitely trustworthy. And if it starts with coming to know him for the first time, to trusting him for the first time, I pray that you would do that. I pray that you would recognize that he is worth putting your life in his hands. We're in John chapter 12, verse 16 today. And if you haven't read it, go ahead and check it out. Stop the tape, see what it has to say. Come back, and then we'll answer the questions. If you have already read it, we're going to jump into it, man. Today is about reactions. And for the next couple of episodes, we're going to talk about the reactions of different people to the event that took place. And the first reaction that we're going to talk about is what's going on. The first reaction we're going to talk about is the reaction of the disciples. And it says that the disciples really didn't even understand what was going on as Jesus entered into this place, that he sat on this donkey and the crowds were yelling out Hosanna to him. They didn't know what's happening. But it said that after he had been glorified, they recognized that this was written about in the scriptures. And so they remembered that these things was necessary and that it had been done to him. So what does that say about God? Well, first off, it says that God desires to make himself known. And the way that he makes himself known is through the act of the cross. Okay, his death and resurrection, his glorification, because they said whenever he had been glorified, they remembered these things and saw that had been done. And so it was because of their perspective or their vision, their view based upon his glorification, based upon Jesus' death and resurrection. So God chooses to make himself known. And when I say known, I mean absolutely clear, because they could have seen these things. They could have saw these things by searching the scriptures, trying to understand the scriptures. It would have been very, very difficult, I believe, uh, um, but they could have done it. Yet God, in wanting to make himself known, does it clearly through the cross. It's a cross perspective. What does this say about man? I think that it says that we as mankind need to put on our cross glasses. That's what we need to do. You know, when people say that we're colored by the our perspectives, that we're whatever we look through the lens is how we see the world. Well, we need to make sure that we are looking through the lens of the cross, that we're looking through the lens of the action that Jesus has taken by giving himself up for our behalf. The lens which sees the Father's love for us by his giving of the Son, so that we might be together with him forever. We need to look through that. And secondly, not only is this glorification happen, but it's also the ramifications of that glorification. And what I say by that is that God has bestowed upon us his spirit in a unique way these days. And because of that, now we have a better and a greater understanding of that love that God has for us and of the scriptures, which he has blessed us with so that we might know him more. So because of the spirit and the power of of God's spirit in us, then we understand and know more of what God desires to disclose about himself. And so because of that, because of those two things, those actions, that's how we can bring glory to God in our own lives. I think that's what it's saying about mankind here. And how do we apply these truths to our lives? Well, the question is, what lens do you have on? A lens of selfishness? A lens of whatever the perspective of the world is trying to make us look through these days? Or is it the lens of what Christ has done for us through his life, his death, and his resurrection, and by the power of the Spirit that God is moving us in? What lens are you looking through? Because that's a powerful statement of how our witness will be for the glory of God. I appreciate you guys for listening, and I will see you in the next episode.